Expose a tactic commonly used by adversaries of the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's this. Anytime there is a doctrinal statement or a testimony that they don't like, they will insist that it cannot possibly be true because of something that they claim not to know. I'll give an example. They'll say the Book of Mormon cannot possibly be true, and Joseph Smith must be a con man because I can't imagine how he possibly could have written it. You see there? They started out with their premise, something that they did not understand or claimed not to know, and then transmogrified that into a claim to knowledge. I'll give another example. Race and the priesthood. They'll say, Brigham Young and the priesthood ban, I don't see a direct revelation from God anywhere, stating that that should be the case. And therefore, they take that absence of evidence to be evidence of absence, which is again, just an argument from ignorance. It's something they do not know, and then they're claiming to know something because of what they do not know, right? But it's even worse than that, because even when God does give a revelation, like in section 132 of the Doctrine and Covenants, they'll just cherry pick and exclude that one and say, well, outside of that, and whatever other contemporary sources and so on, I don't see evidence that this happened, right? And so every time the detractors of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the enemies of the Restoration will simply say, I don't know such and such, therefore this can't be true. But you know what? This is not new. This is actually a pattern that was employed by the Antichrist anciently. So Sherem and Korihor actually both used this strategy. They would say things like, you cannot know of things which you do not see, and no man can know of things which are to come. But then Korihor immediately turned that around. He said, but I know that there shall be no Christ. And so you see, the strategy is a perverse one. It's this bait and switch. Do they have some kind of alchemy where they can transform ignorance into knowledge of truth? Certainly not. But ultimately, this is the only weapon that the adversary has in his arsenal of attempted logical argumentation. Just argue from ignorance, or else just blatantly lie and misrepresent the truth. That's all he's got. Every argument against the Restoration devolves into precisely this. And if you have any examples that you want to try out, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'm happy to address them. But this is how it works. They just say, I don't know such and such, therefore, such and such else must not be true, right? So when you learn to identify this tactic, it will help you to become better at identifying doubts for what they really are. The world would be a much better place, and there would be a lot fewer arguments if people who have doubts would simply be honest and say, I have this doubt, or I have this question, or I have this uncertainty. And the rest of us could say, okay, do you want to eliminate that doubt? Do you want to transform your unbelief into belief? Do you want to convert your ignorance into knowledge? Do you want to upgrade? That's one of the key invitations of the gospel of Jesus Christ, as exemplified by Joseph Smith going to the sacred grove and asking God a question. We are each invited to do the same. It's our privilege. We can know things. But remember, the devil always tries to disarm testimony. That's what he's doing when his antichrists come and say, you can't know that. You're not allowed to know stuff. Their universal profession of ignorance is really just projection. They're trying to make their own ignorance contagious. And if they succeed at doing that, then you will have lost your testimony. And that's a win for them, so to speak. It's a win for the adversary, at least. But then they immediately go in for the kill, just like Korihor. No, you're being prideful if you claim to have a testimony. No, you're not allowed to have it. They'll try to shame you into abandoning your testimony. Remember, that's exactly what happened with the Tree of Life and the Great and Spacious Building, pointing their fingers and mocking those who had come and partaken of the fruit. And so you see, it's a matter of, are you willing to hold on to your testimony despite the mockery? Because that's all they've got. That's the only thing they can throw at you. Just ignorance, accusations, mockery. That's it. Why don't you become ignorant like the rest of us? How dare you have knowledge? It's just insanity. Institutionalized insanity. the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is true. Anyway, if you have a question that you want to try out, any argument, any anti-counter apologetics, anything, drop it in the comments. See how it stands up.